Picture this, your band is at the absolute peak of its popularity, you've got a new album in the can, the first single is already a hit on radio, and fans are absolutely losing their minds with anticipation. The machine is rolling just like it should, then just a couple of weeks before it's supposed to drop, you kill it. You just pull the plug on the entire operation. Well, that's exactly what the metal band Powerman 5000 did with their highly anticipated album Anyone for Doomsday. The big question that has echoed for many years is why? This is a band that was staring mainstream success right in the face and consciously deciding to walk away. It's a classic, almost mythical tale of artistic integrity versus what looks like commercial suicide. So stick around because we're going to break down one of the strangest, boldest, and most infamous moves in modern rock history because you guys requested it. And hey, if you're into deep dives on music's weirdest stories, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Before we get into why they slammed on the brakes, you need to understand just how much momentum the band had. Powerman 5000 formed in Boston in the early 90s and spent their formative years grinding through the local music scene, honing a unique sound. Led by charismatic frontman Spider One, who, yes, was the younger brother of Rob Zombie. The band was a wild, unclassifiable mix of industrial metal, punk, funk, and sci-fi obsession. They referred to their own unique sound as action rock. After a couple of independent releases, they hooked up with DreamWorks Records, relocated to Los Angeles, and started to build a national following. Their breakthrough finally came in 1999 with the album Tonight the Stars Revolt. That record was a straight-up phenomenon. It gave us massive hits like When Worlds Collide and Nobody's Real, which became staples of both rock radio and MTV. The album went platinum, selling over 1 million copies, and cemented the band as a major force in the nu metal explosion of the late 90s. They were soon touring alongside giants like Metallica, Korn, as well as Kiss, and their whole retro, futuristic spacesuit and ray gun aesthetic became powerfully iconic. Powerman 5000 was without a doubt on top of the world, and the hype for their next record wasn't just big, it was through the roof. Everything was perfectly lined up for their follow-up album to be their biggest one to date. And that next chapter had a name, Anyone for Doomsday. The band spent late 2000 and early 2001 recording it, working with producers like Terry Date and Ulrich Wild. The album was completely locked, loaded, and scheduled for an August 28, 2001 release. The whole promotional machine was already cranking at full tilt. The first single, Bombshell, was released to radio stations in July and was steadily climbing up the charts. The song was even getting picked up as a theme for the popular WWE tag team, the Dudley Boys. They'd shot a big budget music video for it, and a huge 5-week tour alongside groups like Machine Head and Saliva was booked for September and October. They even had the record release party scheduled. To everyone on the outside, Anyone for Doomsday was a done deal. The ship had sailed, but the captain was about to sink it on purpose. Then, with just 2 weeks to go before the album was set to hit store shelves, Powerman 5000 yanked the plug on everything. The album was officially canceled. The multi-band tour was scrapped, and the entire music industry, along with legions of their fans, were left completely baffled. So what on earth happened? Now, for years, the most popular theory was that the album got shelved because of its title, Anyone for Doomsday, and its generally apocalyptic themes in the wake of the horrific 9/11 attacks. But the timeline just doesn't seem to add up. The band officially announced the cancellation in mid-August of 2001, a full month before that terrible day. The real reason was way more personal and honestly, a lot more shocking for a band on the verge of its biggest release. Frontman Spider One essentially had a crisis of conscience. He had been remarkably open about it in interviews over the years, stating that when he listened back to the finished record, he just felt like it was a carbon copy of Tonight the Stars Revolt. He felt that the band was treading water creatively and simply repeating a successful formula instead of pushing themselves into new territory. In a statement at the time, Spider explained, "We should have put the brakes on the project. Now I realize that deadlines are for lawyers and accountants, not rock bands." His gut feeling was that they'd settled for something that was maybe 80% great, and for him, that just wasn't good enough. To make an already chaotic situation even crazier, intense drama was stirring inside the band as well. The creative disagreements and the stress of the situation led to a major fracture. It culminated with longtime bassist Dorian Hartstrong and drummer Al Pahanish. The core rhythm section that had been with the band through its rise to fame left by November of 2001. So now you've got a fractured lineup, a frontman who's lost faith in the album, and a record label that has already spent a fortune on promotion. Despite all this, they made the incredibly risky and expensive decision to just stop everything. The fallout was immediate and significant. The band had to go completely back to the drawing board, now with 2 members to find. They eventually regrouped and re-emerged in 2003 with a new album called Transform. This record marked a deliberate shift in their sound, ditching much of the industrial and sci-fi elements for a more raw punk-inspired style. But there's no denying that the 2-year gap, the lineup change, and the confusing cancellation, as well as shifts in the music industry, had cost them a major amount of momentum. Transform debuted at a respectable number 25 on the charts in the States, but it only sold a fraction of its predecessor before their label DreamWorks ultimately folded. And what about the lost album, Anyone for Doomsday? Well, it immediately became the stuff of legend. Promotional copies that had been sent out to the press before the cancellation started selling for insane amounts online, sometimes upwards of $300, becoming serious collector's items. For a brief period, Spider-One tried to sell it directly through his own independent label, Megatronic Records, but was quickly forced to pull it due to legal complications with the record company. So for years, it existed as this legendary lost album, a ghost in their discography, heavily downloaded and traded amongst fans. It wasn't until 2009 that the legal mess was finally solved and the album received an official full digital release, finally letting the wider public hear the record that almost never was. The decision to shelve Anyone for Doomsday is a wild and cautionary tale about the clash between art and commerce. Spider-One and his band made a choice that almost any industry insider would call career suicide. They put their own creative vision ahead of a guaranteed platinum selling hit, and it was a move that cost them a ton of money, a couple of founding band members, and a whole lot of mainstream momentum, all because they refused to make the same album twice. Spider-One has stated in interviews that if they had released the album, the bad blood and creative turmoil inside the band probably would have boiled over and destroyed them anyway. So when you look at it that way, maybe sabotaging the album is the only reason Powerman 5000 is still around today. It was a short-term sacrifice for a long-term survival. But what do you guys think? Was it a brave and principled move to protect their artistic integrity, or was it a colossal career mistake that they never fully recovered from? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. That brings us to the end of today's video, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again in Rock and Roll True Stories. Take care.